Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 50 podcast. I am your host, Crimson Sen.
And 15 PCA.
Nate Tip 454.
So I know last week we talked a lot about remakes and reboots, and so it's like another movie series, Highlander. I really liked Highlander. I got into Highlander when the TV series was out. I remember it was on USA Network.
Yeah.
And I watched the movies. The first movie's good. Everyone after that.
No, the second movie was awful.
The Quickening is so bad.
Is that the... I remember that one. Yeah.
That with aliens, and they just disavowed
They basically retconned that whole idea.
Yeah, that was just weird.
And if anyone doesn't know what Highlander is, basically there's a certain people on the planet Earth that are immortal. And the only way they can die is if they lose their heads. And if they're killed by another Highlander, they gain their powers. And the legend says is when there is one Highlander left, he'll be so powerful, he'll basically become king of the world.
Yeah, he can control
And
all.
Another thing is Highlanders can't have kids. But if they ever gets down to there can only be one, and the final Highlander can actually have children. So then he'll literally be the king of the world, and he'll have a lineage. And he's immortal.
Yeah.
So, Christopher Lambert, classic.
Classic Highlander.
McLeod. Yeah. It's such a fun movie. It is very confusing because it jumps around a lot between Scotland and then modern times. Modern times and when the movie was made.
Yeah,
it's old now.
So 90s, yeah.
And there was like all the weird wrestling stuff that was in it. It's just got a lot of weird stuff. But Highlander means a lot to me personally, but seeing it getting reboot and redone, I don't really mind.
Yeah.
It's niche.
The only thing I would want them to keep is the sword.
The sword fighting, I want them to have a katana.
Yes, and the classic, the white...
with the dragon on it.
Yeah, that
and
was
then
cool.
there can only be one. The lightning. And the quickening has to look cool. So every single time you kill another Highlander and chop off their head, it's called the quickening, and you gain their strength and power.
Yeah, and usually it's like some type of element that comes out. Either
like lightning
or
tornadoes.
And there was also, if I recall, two different shows. The one in America is okay. The one in Europe is really... more adult. It's weird.
There was a live action show with Adrian Paul. I love that one.
That was good too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be in Queen. You got to have the Queen-esque soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
And there was an American cartoon.
Yes.
Then there was like an anime, which wasn't bad. None of these things are
bad.
horrible.
They're not bad, no.
Yeah. They're a good watch.
The anime is done the same kind of animation as Ninja Scroll, so the guys are kind of beefy and big.
Which I don't mind that. I like that stuff.
And it's kind of funny because in the anime version, it's like, global warming ruined the earth, and now everything's kind of a Mad Maxy kind of world.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of stuff to make, a lot of things they can take from old stories, new stories, and make Highlander new again. Yeah. So it's cool.
It's a cool concept.
I like the idea. Then it all comes down to a sword fight.
Exactly.
And that's so cool. I like that because even in the way future, it all comes down to a sword fight. I can get any more classic than two dudes fighting in this,
Right? Exactly. And also it's cool if they remake it, you can add all kinds of people with different weapons.
Because there's like rules and regulations and stuff like a Highlander can't be killed if they're on like sacred ground.
Exactly.
They can be killed, but it causes like a problem. Yeah. Like that's why like Pompeii exploded. Like all the great natural disasters happened because someone did a quickening on
someone on
sacred grounds.
Exactly.
So there has been, and since you're immortal, you can't die. There's been Highlanders who literally made sacred ground, and now they never left it.
Yeah.
So there would never be a one. Yeah. That was like their whole process. Then there's like the Watchers and stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff they can do. I don't mind a remake.
And Sean Connery's in the first one too. He played a cool role.
Yeah, he was Ramirez.
Ramirez.
And he was the Spaniard. That was
cool.
Yeah, so really good history. It's really fun because you'll run into other Highlanders that have been alive for really long times. Like, I believe in the TV series, there's one that was back in the day where they thought he was a 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's how old he was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool lore and rules and like world building they can do. So, and I definitely want to see it with the bigger budget.
Exactly.
Yeah, with more cool specials. Because again, the lightning, back when I watched it as a kid, it was cool. Now it's like, oh, geez, that's so cheesy. It's so cheesy.
Yeah.
I'm the only one.
just look up the soundtrack is just great. God, if you like old school, like, Queen, it's so great. it matches so perfectly.
I mean, that's not bad, but to me, when I think of Queen old school, I think of Flash Gordon. I just love that soundtrack.
But do you think they just remake the first movie?
You know what, you could.
Kurgan.
I wouldn't mind.
Kurgan's a cool bad guy. He was a nasty bastard.
Oh man, that's a whole sad story.
And he's a piece of garbage. That guy, and he was a bad guy you loved to hate. You wanted to see him go down.
You wanted him to die.
Yeah, he wasn't likable.
No, he is a piece of garbage. So I wouldn't mind this hopefully this can be a cool movie.
Yeah.
And even if it was like a cult hit, but I kind of want to see Highlander seen by new audiences. So I think it's cool enough. It's so honky-tonk and old, you can't show someone who's like 16 or 17 like, what is this? This is stupid.
Yeah, it's weird.
It would not make them feel the way it did when I was their age.
Yeah.
So maybe a new version will.
Yes. And I wouldn't mind if they did the remake, or even if they just got a whole new characters, maybe little cameos.
You got to the
Like
guy has to be
Easter eggs.
it has to be in McLeod though.
Yeah.
You got to keep that, but you can change everything.
Yeah, because even in the anime, they had him as McLeod.
Yeah, it's for some reason, no matter what happens, these guys end up becoming McLeods for some reason, no matter where they're from.
Exactly.
I'm just kind of reading over this little article, whatever, and they're saying this a script is moving forward. Ryan Condell. Let's see what else that he did. Released Christopher Lambert, and there's actually 5 films. I've seen most of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're directed video. I guarantee they were.
Yeah.
2 live-action television series and 3 animated
Yeah,
series.
the one was in Europe and one was in America. The Europe one was like really like They're like, what is this?
Both will be directed by the same guy who directed John Wick, and those movies were cool.
Oh, yeah. John Wick was filmed great, too. Like, the way it was cinematically shot.
So, yeah, as long as they get the sword fighting to look cool and everything, I think this really has a chance of coming back and being, instead of being third, fourth banana, maybe it can start moving up the line of coolness. And
yeah,
well,
cool
you can
fantasy
see,
stories.
unlike what we talked about this a few weeks ago with Alien, I think this is potential to be bigger. I think I could see it become,
Well, because you fall in love with the character. You fall in love with whoever the McLeod is going to be.
Yeah, and then his stories, and then he might do flashbacks of his past, and it's really good, really good.
See, it says, we're finally got a screenplay we're happy with. Patrick Watchberg, head of Lionsgate Motion Picture Group, told the site, we have set up the stories so it has sequel potential. They also reported the studio is planning a Highlander trilogy. Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're thinking the way you're thinking. This could be potentially something more than just what it was.
Yeah, than just a niche little fantasy story.
Yeah.
They got to just have like the sword. Like that should be the poster.
yeah.
It should just be that dragon
Sword,
katana blade, and
boom.
it's just the coolest thing ever.
And
I
then
love it.
Highlander, bam. It can only be one. Again.
It can only be one again.
Again.
One more time.
One more time.
This time is personal. No, but definitely looking forward to this. I want to see a trailer. I want to see casting choices. I want to see sets. I want to see. Wait, this looks.
Well, this looks a good first small step.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
It's got looks like a good director on there, and we got a good writer. So we should at least get something that is watchable, at least for the fans.
Yep.
If not for everybody else.
All this is a full theatrical release, isn't like
And it somehow finds its way to like Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Netflix, and you're like, oh man.
It definitely looks cool. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, sub, and share. Also, for the most up-to-date information about the podcast, follow us on Twitter at C15 Podcast.